need a little enlightening. It'll make you grow.
Hey guys, good evening. Today we have Dr. Jayashree joining us from Chennai. She is a passionate speaker, she is multi talented, she is a fitness freak, she is into many things. Especially, she is after coming back from the US, she decided to give back to the society. And so today we have Jayashree ji, who I personally want to check what made her get into social service and how does she manage multiple facets in life, being a mom, getting into fitness, being into a lot of activities including motivating people, get people, ensuring that people build their self confidence. So thanks a lot, Jayashree, for joining us on this particular show.
I thank you, Ravi, and Work for inviting me on this forum. I'm really glad and honored to be here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I welcome all the viewers who are watching me today live for the first time. I'm going to be interviewed about myself. So I'm so thrilled today. So that's what I can say.
So, Jayashree ji, a lot of people might be knowing on what are some of the causes which you work on, and but maybe they are not aware of you. Who's Jayashree? Where is she from? So, I and all the friends who are watching this would love to know about Jayashree. Where is she from? Where did she study? What does she like? What does she doesn't like? So things like that. Let's discuss. So over to you. So we would love to know you more.
Sure. First of all, to begin with, I invite all the viewers to connect on this link and you know enjoy this show. And as far as I'm concerned, I am a special educator. I'm working at Sankalp, the open school in Chennai. So, talking about my childhood, I actually studied in a place called, it's in Karnataka. It's called as Kolar Goldfields. That is where my entire childhood was, including my college. Everything was there. It was a beautiful place, though. I think as far as education is concerned, I got the best education. I'm a KV student from Kolar, BEML. My dad, he worked for Bharat Earth Movers Limited. So I became a part of the prestigious school. KV is known for its standard and class. So I got the best education and probably the best teachers also. Even now, even today, probably any school, I cannot compare with what kind of teachers I had. It was a wow. That's it, I can say. So I did my entire schooling till 12th in Kendriya Vidyalaya. And then, yeah, of course, in school, I was not like a class topper or, you know, I was always, now, if you look at me, I'm not a very chubby person or anything like that. But in my childhood, I was always chubby. I was always chubby. And probably that was one of my, I don't know whether to say it was a hindrance or it was a good thing. But because I was so plumpy, I used to get pinched and all, it was like, what to say, my cheeks used to be red when people start because I was so chubby and things like that. But apart from this, from that academic part, I was never a class topper. I was never, especially math was very tough for me.
Okay.
So yes, I used to get very low marks and all that, comparisons, all that used to happen. Even now, sometimes I remember those days. But I'm very happy that those kind of failures has got me to this point. So, but one thing is, I should thank my father. My father has been a hero in my life. So always, even if I score less marks or whatever, I used to not be punished very harshly. But of course, the way my mom used to scold me and all that, that was kind of very harsh. So probably those, the way she used to approach was kind of little bit more harsh through her words and all that. So that I still feel could have been better.
Better.
Yes. But probably again, I feel all those things only has brought me here. So I don't complain anything. But yes, it was a tough we used to have meetings. The parent-teacher meeting used to be in an open way. Unlike in the US where you have everything as a
One
private
to
one
one,
and
yeah.
all that, one to one. But here, I used to be so humiliated. I used to feel humiliated because when a child has got less marks, the teacher is telling in front of all the parents, it's like making fun of you or pulling you down and things like that. So those things were very harsh. I felt I used to feel so bad about it.
So I think
But
those things should change. Yeah.
yes, those things still happen actually in many schools. The teachers are conversing in front of the child itself about the child. So that is, I think, totally wrong. It should not happen. So, and then of course, the way we used to get punished and all that, uh, kneel down.
Kneel down, stand up,
Yes,
kneel down
you're
outside the.
late to school, you get punished, right? So I used to not get that much punished, but it was there. So, and then because of I was never able to participate in any kind of athletic event or any sports for that matter. But always I had the urge that I want to lead, I want to do things and all that. Somehow, finally, when I entered the 10th grade, I started, leading the assembly and all. Then reading thought for the day in front of the assembly. I felt so proud. And then finally, when I reached 12th grade, I became the house captain. So that was like a wow moment for me. That is, I think, from the grade 1 to grade 12, I think this was the wow moment for me. But apart from that, there was so much of struggle. It was not easy. There were so many adventures also. Like when I used to miss the bus, I had to walk like 20 minutes to the school. So it was not easy because in those days we never had any phone or anything. My dad also never carried any mobile phone. And then I see myself also as a very courageous girl even in that age, because once I ended up taking a bus that was going towards a place called Chintamani in Karnataka. It was going towards the opposite direction. I was only in grade 2 at that time. So but then when I was halfway through, I realized that, oh my god, I'm in the wrong bus. Then I stopped the conductor. I got down in front of my dad's office, and I was brave enough to contact that policeman there who was there, and then told him my dad's name and all that. So that is one very great incident that I vividly remember still, because and one more thing I would like to share is probably God has given me the gift of forgetting the bad very soon. So I cannot recollect many things actually. That is a bliss.
Blessed. Yeah,
Sometimes,
we are
yes,
definitely
I'm
blessed.
blessed. Yes, but one harsh thing that definitely happened in my life was like I saw my mom's thing. It was very harsh. I don't want to share it completely, but yeah, that is still there in me. It was
Sorry to hear that.
yeah. So yeah, that's it about my childhood and school days.
Yeah, but if you recollect, I mean, if we go back, does this, behavior of parents, one person, it's either dad being nice and mom being strict, or vice versa. Do you think that that's a good equation to maintain, or do you think that it should be
Actually, it's a game that the parents play. Like when one is strict, the other should be, you know,
pacifying,
very yeah.
taking care?
Because otherwise, it's going to be very harsh for the children. But in that way, my mom was always strict, so she was always. So I cannot change that. But definitely, my father is the person who, even today, he encourages me for whatever I do. He's very happy as and when I grow up, scale up in my life. He is the one emotionally who has encouraged me all the time. So more than my mom, I would say my emotional support is my father. So I thank him for giving me that freedom and you know trusting me.
Daughters are always dad's favorite, so I think that is one of the reasons. But when you're talking about the punishments, I mean, I've also studied in KV, that's where my childhood went. I remember that standing on the bench, that there are levels of punishment. Standing on the bench, and the next level is stand kneel down outside the class. If the punishment is really serious, you've done a big crime, blunder, and you're not repeating the same thing, the punishment is kneel down outside the principal's room. So
Yes.
entire class, entire school knows that, okay, you've done something pick that's a reason you're kneeling down outside the school. Uh, I remember I personally kneeled down outside the principal's room for a punishment for a crime which I've not done. And I still wonder why principal or any of the teachers have never come back and asked as to what really happened. So that, I think what you're saying is this system has to change. I doubt some of the schools have this, or if still some of these punishments are carried out. But I think there should be an advocate at the school level who should also listen to what kid has actually done, or what went wrong, instead of coming into a conclusion that okay, yeah, this is a mistake the kid has done.
No, nowadays, even parents or the teachers, many of them carry very less patience to listen. They think that okay, I'm an adult, so the child has to listen to me.
We
They
just
don't
impose.
consider, yes, they don't consider that that child is an individual. Respect that human. That concept is not there. Even today, probably the amount of punishment or the level of punishment has decreased. They sometimes they do hit. I've heard from my son's school that sometimes they hit with the scale and all that.
Oh,
So that still happens, but see, because there are 50 students in a class, it is out of the control. The teachers are not. We cannot blame them also. It is out of control. So the whole system has to change. If there are 50 students in a class, at least there should be one helper who can assist the teacher. In at least maintaining the decorum of the class. So that system has to definitely change.
okay. Being a chubby kid, okay. So is it annoying for you to, somebody pulls the cheek all the time? Being a girl or a boy?
No, actually, see, so to some teachers, I was like a pet. Even now, they see me in that same manner. Like, I used to be the favorite, not because I was good in studies or anything. I was not a topper. I told you already. So it is because I was, I used to smile well and, chubby and all that. So that looks, some teachers, they used to, like that. So, but whether it is annoying or not, I think I didn't give much attention to that. I was what I was. After, as in when I grew up, uh, probably I didn't think at a deeper level that I'm not taking part in these things or something like that. I used to definitely try my best to take part in at least group activities or somewhere wherever I get a chance here and there. But I was not that active, even in extracurricular and all that. I was very surprised actually. Even they used to have this on the spot essay writing competition and all that. In my class, there were many toppers who were really good at that. But today, I see myself as an English teacher, and when I entered my career as an educationalist, and even before that, when I was in the IT field and all that, like when I started writing the reports, people started appreciating. That is when I knew that there was something called as writer in me. Until then, I never knew that I could write so creatively. So that was something. But of course, when I was in college, I won the best. I won the first prize for my good handwriting in
Oh.
Hindi. Not only handwriting, but without spelling mistakes. So that was one thing that I remember when I was in the college.
So, what was your ambition? During school days, we generally have ambitions like we would do this during, and it might change. During my school days, it was completely different. My college days, it changed. By the end of the college, it changed again. So, what was your this thing? Did you have a lot of pressure from family members? What you need to do, or what was your ambition to become? What career would you wanted to take?
Yeah, actually, I would say I was a lucky one. So I never wanted to go into this tagged thing, engineering or doctor. So, but my wish was I wanted to take up the catering technology.
Okay.
So my parents, they just gave me the freedom, but of course I was the one who did not make use of it. So, but I did have the freedom of, I didn't go through the entrance exam for the engineering or doctor, I mean the medicine, anything. I had my book which I had to study for my catering technology entrance exam. Happily, I said, okay, now I finished 12th, I can relax for some time. while others, all my friends and all, they were busy preparing for the exam. I took a break. I went to my native place 15 days. Of course, what will happen ultimately when I wrote the exam, I did not get through it. So I was forced to join because there'll be a time lapse if I'm taking another year, right? So then I was forced to join BSc. So it was not that I had some pressure or anything like that. I had the full freedom to choose whatever I wanted, but I did not make use of it. I ended up taking BSc in chemistry, which also I enjoyed. Was play having fun with all the chemicals and all that. So, but the only toughest thing was zoology. I had the
That
all this
you had
dissection.
cramps because of zoology.
No, it was all the dissection, the animals and all, right? You have to dissect them. So that was but
It was a painful thing.
yeah, it was. But one more thing was I was when I made the records. That is when I discovered that I could also draw very well, because when I finished my degree, my after immediately after my practical exam, my practical record was taken for the model,
Mhm.
for modeling to the juniors. So that still stands in my heart, that okay, I am best at this. That is my record work used to be so perfect. I used to take time. I still remember the zoology record, the botany record and all. The diagrams used to be perfect as a print.
Wow.
So I used to take so much time. Even in the night, I used to sit and do all that. I don't know whether I did the same thing for studying for the exam. Please don't ask that. I never did that. But I always attended all the classes. This is one thing, I never bunked. Even in the college, I never bunked classes. So when I listen, I used to remember my answers. So uh, I used to have a very good memory power at that time. So even if I forget some things, I used to remember that okay, my teacher has taught this. She used to tell when I was in this period, she discussed about this. So something like that, by fluke, I used to write all the answers. I ended up clearing in with 65%. So, but I used to take a lot of course, the record work carried very less marks, but still I used to take so much of effort to do that. So, not for studying the whole bulk of it.
So we have Veena Kumari who's saying, "Hi, ma'am. I'm from Karnataka.
I
Wow, nice, nice self development, ma'am."
Thank you, thank
Arasu
you,
is saying, "Fabulous and fantastic. Well done." Uh, he's saying, "Wonderful session. He's enjoying it."
thank you.
So, after college, what happened after the college? Did you get a chance to explore any jobs here?
Yes, definitely. After college, actually, um, yeah, while I was in the college itself, at that time, 1997 to 98, computer was in the boom, right?
Hmm.
So at the end of the college, everybody said you have to do computers. So I ended up taking this GNIIT for 3 years. It's almost like another degree, because
Yeah.
although it's captioned as a diploma, it is a 3 year degree, because you're doing it the entire course for 3 years. But I enjoyed that moment because I used to travel from Bemal Nagar to Bangalore every day by train. That was a good experience,
Freedom
that
and freedom.
it gave me
It's
so
just
much of freedom, because
just
there is
not
no
going to
mom to
college and
shout it,
coming
there is
home.
nobody going to that control was. I was like free bird at that time, like the Bangalore moment was. So every day I used to travel morning, and I used to be back only in the night. It gave me a lot of courage also to travel alone. And the best part is, my parents trusted me completely.
That
They didn't think that okay, she's a girl, how will she go alone and come. I used to come only by 9 o'clock in the evening. Of course, my dad used to drop me in his TVS 50 those days. He used to drop me in TVS 50 till the bus stop, and I had to go to the train station and then take the train. So all this taught me a lot, to fight alone in your life, then attending the class and coming back. So every day back and forth. And then finally, at one point, I found a job.
Mhm.
Even in between this NIT, I found a job in Tulak Computers, which was my branch was in Richmond Circle, Bangalore. So then because my job was at Tulak Computers, I had to take up I had to stay in a hostel actually.
Okay.
So that was the first experience to stay out of you know
Out of home
out of home.
with more
It
freedom,
was, yeah, of
with
course,
limited resources
because
but a lot of freedom.
yes, because even when I was in the school, I never had a chance to go to even the excursions.
Hmm.
You know, I never went for any excursions while my friends used to go. That is one thing still there on my mind. Although I had so much of freedom and all that, but certain things which many used to enjoy as a friend and with along with friends, all that was still missing. You know. So when I got to Bangalore, I of course made so many friends, and it was like a big freedom moment in my life. So I enjoyed. Then eventually I found a job. My this NIT period also gave me a lot of. The only toughest part was learning Java coding. That was the last semester,
And
right? The final semester. That was the toughest part for me. But otherwise, it was a wow moment during those Bangalore and Bemal Nagar days.
okay, so I also heard that you've gone to the US, you lived there for a while. So how was that journey?
Yeah, so when I just landed into my career
Hmm.
job, you know, that is when, you know, right, any parent, they want to get their daughters married off. And because my father was like, before his retirement, he wants to get me married and all that. So yes, after all that, I ended up getting married to my husband now, Srinivas. So yeah, in 2000 we got married, and this marriage was like another a very quick journey, I would say. Within 10 days, I got married.
Oh, very short
Yeah,
period.
yes, very short period, and that too. Usually, in the traditional ways, all the girls, they dress up in sari and all that. I never knew how to tie a sari. Basically, I'm telling this today. You know, at that time when I was in college, I used to hate. I wanted to be a free bird. Matlab, I don't want bangles. I don't want anything touching on my neck because it used to irritate me. That's how I was. Very simple earring and all that. Now I'm wearing all this. But at that time I
For
was like
Mr.
nothing
Srinivas, you
to.
had to do all that.
Yes, definitely. But these things, you know, at that time was like, uh, so I never knew how to tie a sari. It was like, so then quickly my aunt lived in Bangalore. So they came to see me in Bangalore, and they said, no, my son is leaving to US within 10 days. So we have to, you know, sort of finish this and all that. They said, okay, then that's how we got married on May 10th, the year 2000. So after that, the following month, I landed in US. So
Hmm.
ever since I
Immediately.
lived there, yes. So talking about my journey in the US, of course, being a busy bee in Bangalore working and all that, it was very tough for me because I was on a dependent visa.
Hmm.
So it was very challenging for me to sit at home, and I was just, of course, initial days you feel that pampered kind of thing, right? All that was okay, new country, excitement, first time flight, all that was there. But eventually, of course, weekends we used to go out. Nobody was there, only the two of us, so it was nice. Then eventually, what happened was that boredom started sinking in me because you know, we definitely we live in New Jersey, so we definitely need a vehicle to commute.
Yeah.
So because public transport is still not that great, unlike states like California and all that. So uh, or New York for that matter, even, you know, New York, the public transport is really good, right? So here I had to depend. So my husband would go to work and I used to be at home, not many friends, I don't know many people. So sometimes I used to take a walk in the park and all that. But of course, for my nature, I ended up making some new friends here and there. uh, and then yeah, I did have a big circle later on, but still sitting at home was a big thing. So I thought, okay, let me upgrade myself. I did some certification in interior decoration. Then I discovered that I want to bake, so I did this professional cake baking course there, and then all these things I tried. Then finally, because I didn't have a working visa, and we had eventually applied for the green card, it took a lot of time to process and things like that. So even we couldn't even come to India because of this paperwork.
Okay.
So it was very tough. So then I said I want to do something for myself. So I did become an entrepreneur. I
Wow.
had my own catering business for some time. I was a single person managing everything. Like I did manage everything, including cutting, washing, all the process, entire process. I was, then eventually when it was all mostly word of mouth.
Okay.
I never gave any ads or anything.
Yeah, once the food is nice, you don't have to.
Yeah, so I started getting many clients, and my the best thing was my idlis used to be very soft. So I started getting big orders for my idlis, 100 like that. But within the utensils that I had, I didn't buy anything like a professional utensil or big, the chef one, the big ones.
Okay.
I just managed with whatever I had. But surprisingly, I just one day I ended up getting a party order for 70 to 100 people. That was my first, biggest order that I had. And then eventually, I don't know how the word spread, but I got a call from Deccan Chronicle. They said we are interviewing all the people who are at home and then doing something. So, and then after 2 weeks or so, my dad, when I was talking to my dad from there, he said your article has appeared on the Deccan Chronicle. I was like so surprised because I didn't know. Somebody called me and then I gave the interview. I didn't know that it's going to appear on paper. So that was my first public appearance.
Wow. So
that was
Jayashree, I have more questions for you. In the meanwhile,
Yes.
for friends, here is a short video of all the pictures, the journey of Dr. Jayashree. So here we go. Okay, we are back, Dr. Jayashree. So,
Thank you.
lovely journey. I also hear that you're a fitness freak. So, how did that happen? How did you manage your family and then, being a fitness freak? Cycling, when did you learn that?
Actually, fitness freak. This is a long story because I lived in the US for 15 years. Even when we go as a family, or even my husband and I, when we used to go for any kind of trekking, I was like still on the heavier side. Okay, let me tell you, I used to be, become tired very quickly. So my husband used to walk fast. Now he's surprised how I'm doing this. That's a different thing. So I'm myself surprised how I'm doing this today. So I was that kind of a person. Even after a few kilometers of walk, I used to get tired. So, but the journey began actually when it was a roller coaster. There were so many things that happened in the US. Once once we got the green card, I ended up taking up a job there. Because finally it was like a final moment. Okay,
Yeah.
something to. So, but it
Wow.
was not that easy because I lost touch with my subjects and things like that. So because I never upgraded myself with with a further a master's degree or whatever, you know. So these were all the drawbacks that I had to get into a job. But luckily, one of my family friends, he was in he had an IT consulting company. So he said, "Why don't you join us? We need a we need a good a person who can speak well and all that." So I said, okay. So finally, I ended up becoming the IT marketing. I went into the marketing side where, because I knew the subjects also, I was a QA specialist at that. I learned the QA and all that, thinking that, it was because many friends told you learn QA, quality assurance, then you can get into a job. So all this trial and errors I did. Then finally, I ended up doing this job. I had to recruit people. So I became a hiring manager. So it went on very well. I worked there for almost around 3 years. And then, of course, in the meanwhile, I had my two boys also. So that was a big struggle, again, because we found so many things, uh, like, the difficulties, the challenges that my child had. What I was, yeah, I was basically the chauffeuring person there, like everything, driving my children to the classes and all those things. Because my husband was only bread earner, so, he was busy with his work. So, but when I took up this job, I had to do everything. So it was multitasking again, you know. So, but at one point, this is a moment of goosebumps that I still have in my life, because it was a big incident that one of my son had in his life just before his birthday, you know. So this, I don't want to tell it, explain it, in the public like this. So, but it was something very traumatic for the entire family. It was very shocking for all of us. So, but by God's grace, I think, we got him back. So it was the emergency, the police, the emergency department, everybody who were with us at that time. Most importantly, the supreme power was there with us. So all the prayers and everything, we revived from that incident. And but that is when a change within me happened. I say, I something triggered that, okay, all the supreme power somewhere has only made this miracle happen. So that is when I decided that I have to give back to the community. I was luckily, where before this incident happened, I just quit my job because it was too much tiring for me too. Because already my older son had challenges, and then managing uh, both my children was becoming little challenging at that time. So I said, okay, let me take a break and then probably come back. But then this hit us, then there was a big change within me. I don't know what. I cannot explain that change, the kind of feeling that I had at the time. That is when this all this, probably they say, right, to make you do things you have to experience certain things, or probably the almighty is testing the people. Sometimes I also feel that you're born to take the difficulties, and almighty is testing you. So that is when I felt that, okay, I am really born to serve the community. So at that time, I started volunteering. There is this GR ashram where they teach shlokas to the children, or all our culture and our sampradayam, they say, right, all our so I started volunteering there as a teacher. That was my first experience as a teacher. But even before that, in my son's schools, I used to be a very active parent volunteer, because I like to keep myself busy. So I was known, even in the school, as an active parent. So wherever my child needed, because that is when I see my son's success also. Because the more you are spending time with them, you can see success in them. So I used to give whatever I could. But this volunteering experience was totally a different one. I started teaching shlokas to children. That gave me so much of solace and something, which you don't expect anything from anybody. You're just giving it. But then their as my older son's potential was not recognized in the district. We felt that they require some change. And then this is also, I would say, this was also a miraculous moment for us. Actually, through our Acharyan's blessings, you know, we ended up coming to India. You know, so it was also miraculous. One of our family friends, she referred to, Dr. Vasudha Prakash, who's the founder of VXL Educational Trust. So she, got all our details, and she said, okay, your son is going to do wonderful. I'm like, this is the first time I'm hearing something like this. I had almost tears on my eyes, because I went through so much as a mother, like so much of struggle. The child is so talented. You're when the child is given proper attention, he's able to do so many things. But why the school is not identifying that? So, but then when somebody told this, I was like, wow, is it really possible? Then that is when we ended up coming to India. I landed in India in the year 2014, and that too, it was in the middle of the year. When in the US, right, the holiday school year ends at July, in July,
Sure.
and May, and then July the whole vacation begins. So here the term begins already. So when we came, the term had already started, and my son was in fifth grade. So getting an admission in grade 5 is something challenging, right? So with the help of Dr. Vasudha Prakash, we myself and my son, we hopped in almost for in 20, around 20 schools or 30 schools. I don't remember exactly, but we did a lot of hard work, and finally we got the school where he belonged, and that is a school that I'm working now, Sankalp, the open school. I'm very proud to say today in a public forum that Sankalp has done so much of miracles for my son, and he is now along with the mainstream, and he's finishing his 12th very soon. So it is a big journey, and I'm very happy about being a parent in Sankalp and transiting into a teacher in Sankalp itself. That is a big, a special moment for me. So, and then talking about the fitness part, um, this is after we landed in India, I wanted to keep myself busy, because children would go to school. I've settled them, and so then I approached my friend Dr. Vasudha Prakash. Can I volunteer at your school? Of course, the distance from my house to the school was almost an hour, and since we just landed here, I didn't have any vehicle, nothing. I had to take a public transport only. So in Chennai, the weather is very hot. So, but I still wanted to do something, so I just went there, and that was like as if I'm entering some temple. When I stepped into that VXL for the first time, I felt that I've come to the temple. I don't even I don't even have to go to the actual temple. Where we all pray God, right? Different deity.
True.
Some kind of beautiful energy which I cannot explain. It was so divine, so peaceful, so calm. And then I was requested to come for 1 week or so, and then after 1 week, they also liked the way I was approaching with these children. And mainly, I should say, these children were drawing my energy. They pulled me into this. So that is how I entered into my career as a special educator. So I started handling autistic children, and today, being the World Autism Day, being here on this forum gives me such a pleasure. And I started handling autistic children and children with learning difficulties. My first experience was to handle teenagers with all these conditions. So it was a different, beautiful experience, and they drew me. I should say they guided me. I will not say I'm a teacher. No, never. Because I always learn from the children. I'll observe them and then see what they want. They are telling, through their silence, they convey so much. That is where I learned that, there is so much beyond us. Children, there are beautiful souls beyond us. That is where I felt that probably, the harshness that I had in my childhood was trying to, I was probably getting pacified through these children. I think the love, the unconditional love that I was receiving from them was like it is immense. Not was, it is still, I'm still working with these children, right? So with children with learning difficulties, right? So it is so much of love, and they make me as a teacher. I don't say that I am going to teach them. No, we learn from each other. So my career as a special educator started from 2015 until today. It's going on by the grace of God. So, and by the grace of these children, they are keeping me alive as a teacher. So they are making me, the reason why I ended up in this career is because every day I was forced to be creative. And probably this was not there in the conventional method of learning, where you have to buy heart the answers, and probably it was too torturing for me. And also after being in the IT profession, that was very monotonous, after, you'll be into a new project, probably after a year or so you'll get bored because it becomes monotonous. Of course you have a lot of money, but it was like money versus peace of mind. And of course handling my children here, you know so it was, that was a beautiful thing. And then when I was in VXL, for the first time, they said, we are going to raise funds. As I already told you, I had decided to give back to the society, right? So they said, we are going to have our school is tied up for a marathon event. Whoever wants to contribute can contribute. I never knew what is marathon. I never knew the meaning of that also, because I know only that, marathon means something running.
Right.
And as I already told you, I was not even good at walking. In the sense, I was not a fast walker, or, my speed. I used to get tired. But now, I saw a goal in front of me. Okay, I said, okay, I can raise, funds. I had an option. When I run, I can, somebody will donate. Okay, so this is, I think, United Way. There is a company called as United Way. Through them, it was happening. So I said, okay, I registered myself unknowingly for a half marathon.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't know what a half marathon was. Okay, after a week or so, I get an email, a reminder saying that now you have a chance to change the distance. Then only when I was browsing, I said, oh my God, half marathon is nothing but 21 kilometers. How am I going to do this? It was like, I never was even regular in walking, forget running. I was like, I had to make up my mind, get up every day, and then at least start walking. Then only you can reach that goal. My only thing was, I could have given up easily, but I never wanted to give up because my goal was to raise funds. I don't want to say that, okay, I'm chumma, just like that running and people will give the money. No, you do the task and then get the funds. That's what I believe in, just not registering and doing things. I didn't want to give up on it. So I said, it's okay, let me try my best. So I started broadcasting this link to everybody so that people could donate. And yes, I raised nearly 1 lakh at that time.
Wow.
This was in the year 2016, actually. In the 2016, yeah. So, but unfortunately, what happened? I couldn't. I was practicing well, but I didn't know the nuances of these things. I didn't know that you're not supposed to travel 1 week before the marathon. I didn't know all these things. I was just practicing, and my husband visited from the US. So we all went for a pilgrimage trip. So it was a very, again, different places. So probably after all the traveling, and I was not even very conscious about my diet and all that. I didn't know that, when you're running, you have to take protein after that. Or before and after, what is the kind of diet you should follow. All that was, I was unaware of these things. So, but I still wanted to do it. But once I came back, I ended up getting typhoid.
Oh.
So, yeah. So then, which means that I was I was not able to do anything for almost a month or so. Of course, when you get such kind of illness, what happens? Your immune system goes down, your weakness. But then, in between, I also faced so much of emotional trauma. You know, so I also realized that when a person has a lot of emotional trauma, it hits you on your digestive system first.
Yeah.
So that is where I ended up getting the typhoid and all that. So, but when I came out of that, when I recovered from this, I I had a strong will that I should never end up in a hospital again, because it made me really sick, like that's hospital surroundings. So no, I was not admitted and all that, but taking the medicines and as if the house was filled with all this, you know. So I had a firm. I gave an affirmation to myself that I'm not going to visit hospital anymore. So that is when I took up this running more seriously. So
Fit.
that is when I found a group called Tower Twisters, which is near Anna Nagar. So I joined them, and then they, helped me and giving me the tips and things like that, how to run and things like that. And then I started having goals. I became more consistent, more than aiming for the distance of how much you can run and all that. I started becoming more consistent. Of course, uh, I had to give equal importance to the fitness also, in
Hmm.
the sense the workouts, the strength training. I mean,
Yeah.
I so that part was really missing actually, because I used to run, and then somehow because of my work and of course I had to take a break from my work at that time, because I just recovered from my illness and all that, and it was too far for me to travel also. So I had to. But after that, I became very regular, and I was so happy when I did my first half marathon. And my timing was in 2 hours 55 minutes, I finished. So I was very, very satisfied customer at that time. So I said hard work, determination, consistency, and dedication can lead to anything. So, and the beautiful thing was my son, who was in Sankal, he also started, blossoming very well, and so much of confidence and improvement in him. It was so heartening to see that. So,
Superb.
I was very happy. And then, of course, like what I did in the US, here also I was a very active parent. So, um with my experience in my previous job as a previous school as a special educator, I started motivating parents here. So, I became a part of the core parent group. So then we gathering parents, and one day I myself became a resource person to give a workshop on positive parenting. That was my first workshop, which I did on positive parenting, because through my journey here, the including the way I raised my son and the way I observe whatever I observed around me, I felt that parents needed more counseling than the children. So, just to keep all the parent group active, we the team decided that okay, let me have a workshop on this. So after seeing that workshop, it was again a surprise moment for me. I I got a call from the school. I thought, they're going to discuss something about my son, because my son is very soft, and I never, by God's grace, never had any complaints about him. So, but I was thinking, what happened? What I was so anxious. But then when I went there, I was so pleasantly surprised. They asked me, "Will you join us as a volunteer?" Because
Wow.
one teacher is going on a medical leave, long leave. So, will you join us? I was like, "Oh my God, is it possible?" Then, after discussing with my family, I agreed to join. Good thing is, the school is very nearby to my house, so the commuting became very less, and I could give lot to the children. So a very beautiful journey from there on till now. And whoever is watching me today from Sankal, I thank the entire team wholeheartedly for giving me this opportunity, and
Nice.
my mentors who have guided me every time, and also even before that, whatever traumatic moments I had, even before that, I took all those things as a very challenging thing. Okay, this person has said this. I'll take it as a challenge and show, not for them but for myself. Then I grew from within. I and then in the meanwhile, I also came across an educational program. It's called as World of Education. This World of Education is the indications of Dr. Steiner, Rudolf Steiner. Okay, it is the philosophy of anthropology. So that journey also, I would say, churned my emotions. It is a 3-year program, but it churned my emotions like anything, and it gave me so much of clarity. Every time I finished a module, something used to change within me. I mean, some people might think what insane she's talking, but it is some spiritual thing that happened within me. So many changes within me. It made me so calm, and it gave me a good understanding of what life is all about. And the beautiful thing is, this journey gave me an understanding of who am I, because I always tell, now I am proudly, I can say everybody that find who you are. The I, that is very important, because unless you know who you are, you cannot give back to anybody. You should know your worth. So probably the destiny has brought me today to this platform also, work, because until now I was not recognized anywhere, right? But today I'm speaking in a public forum about myself, that too. So which means that I have made myself worth it, right? So that is when I can be able to give some message, or people will even listen to me without you doing anything. Just faking around is not going to give anything. So hard work, a lot of hard work.
So,
I would say definitely lot of sincerity and hard work has gone through this entire journey. And today, whatever I am, I'm here.
so
So
can you talk about the memorable, most, the awards and recognition which is very close to your heart?
sure, this awards again, it is like a different journey. I don't know what to say. Um, the first thing that I had was, recently, as I said, in December 2020, uh, I was nominated for this Sardar Patel Women Achievers Award, that is sponsored by Amar Cine Productions. So it was a very thrilling moment for me. And when I was nominated, they also said you have a second portion in this. There is one more part to this. I was like, what? I used to think that don't go towards awards. If you're really worth it, the awards will come to you. So I never went chasing for the awards. I always concentrated on what I should do. I never aim for the awards, even now. It comes to me because probably people feel that I'm still, I'll not say that I'm doing, never. It's something, you know, all the people around me, all the good Samaritans who are there, probably their blessings, that's what is making me do all this. But I will never say that I am doing this, I have achieved this. No. Whatever I have achieved, I would owe this to all those who have been in my journey. Whether it is good or bad, that doesn't matter. Even bad also has made me this, right? Because of those critics only, I'm here, whatever I am. So now talking about these awards, this second part of this Women Achiever Award was the something called as People Choice of People Award. Okay, I have never been through this kind of a system before. It was this award. I was thinking that okay, you fill in the form and the juries are going to, decide and nominate you. But then here I got to know that people have to vote for you. Okay, voting. I've been through this also, not myself, but I know that voting means, like the super singer and all we have, right? Then there is a public voting. So I thought, okay, one or 2 days you're going to vote. So I was very carefree. I didn't pay much attention to this because I already told the organizer that, oh, I cannot do this, I'm not interested and all that. Then when I saw, they sent me the details, and when I saw myself in the 8th position, I said, okay, let me try. Why not?
Hmm.
So slowly I started broadcasting the link and all that. But then after a couple of days, I'm still in the 8th position only. After a couple of days, I asked the organizer, how is this, what is the voting all about? Please explain. Then she said, ma'am, voting is going to happen for 15 days. I was like, oh my God. And then she said the same person can vote every day. I'm like, oh my God, I've never faced such a situation. How am I going to ask people this voting? But again, as I said, when you get into a task, never give up on it. Okay, I've decided to get into this, let me try my best. Okay, so I started broadcasting it every day, and this link, as if saying good morning to everybody. It used to go as a broadcast to our individual messages on WhatsApp, whatever, Messenger, everything, whatever possible, to reach people. Of course, there were every day people used to get irritated. Sometimes even I used to feel guilty. Why? Because I used to feel guilty, thinking that, oh my God, I'm troubling people every day, because so many days I was only on the giving side. You ask me to donate, I'm ready. You ask me to do something, I'm ready. I'm there. Anybody ask me for help, I'm there. But that was the first time in my life I asked something for myself, a vote for myself. But then there were so many good people, so many encouraging uh, souls, I would say, who said, don't worry, Jayashree, we are there with you. Things will happen, but it's okay, you have to do. Because probably they saw that I'm already doing something for the community. Still, I will say I have not done great. Okay, I'm not there yet. If you see, there are so many people in the world who are doing so many things. Sometimes when I look at them, I'll feel jealous also. How come they are doing so much? For the community. Why am I still here? So I'm still there. Somewhere I'm still only one drop of that ocean. Whatever I'm supposed to do is still the ocean. Okay.
So,
So yeah, so this voting system went on for 15 days, and I saw myself growing in the, higher and higher. I eventually went to the 5th position. Then there was when I reached the 4th position, and no, when I reached the 3rd position, there was a tug of war between the
between
3rd and 4th. So of course, it was a lot of sleepless nights, and you know, trying to see how many votes the other person has got, whether I'm still in the, it was a very, that was a very stressful moment, I would say. At a point, I thought of giving up also. Then I used to think, there are so many people who are supporting me, why should I give up? And then finally, even in this journey, there were so many people who blocked me on WhatsApp. Those things happened, but still, when when I used to see such things, I used to feel, okay, this person is not going to be there. It's okay. Then there were still people, great souls, who used to say, tell me every time, encourage me. Don't worry, keep doing whatever you're doing. Why are you stopping? Why are you getting? Somebody will try to pull you down because you're growing in life now.
yeah.
They cannot see you in this position. So all these beautiful words still ring in my ears. So, and then finally I won with 1,601 votes
Mhm.
all across Asia, and then stood first in South India.
Wow,
So that
congratulations.
was a very miraculous moment. And even before this, yes, I felt myself as an achiever, because in the for the first time I finished my 151 kilometers on cycle, on my saddles, and eventually I finished my 175 kilometers also on my saddles. Yes, there were some moments when people started questioning, how did you do this and all that. Today I will say that because of so many uh, good Samaritans, because of the divine grace, there is something called as divine grace. People may or may not believe, but I truly believe in that. So that divine grace is some only thing that is keeping me going, and with the blessings of everybody who have been supporting me. So it has been a great journey. on these awards. And then the second thing was I got a call from this Human Rights Commission. It was totally a surprise. I didn't expect. They said, "Ma'am, we have nominated you for doctorate award." I was like, "Wow." So that is a second a surprising moment for me, which so now people call me Dr. Jayashree. I will always say it's an honorary doctorate. Sometimes people get confused. So it is not a doctorate for my PhD, or I'm not a medical doctor. Yes, I have been given this doctorate for my services for my social service and my services in special education. But special education, I'm yet to go more further. It is not enough. I'll try to give my best, whatever I can, as long as I get the support from all the good Samaritans around the world.
Thanks a lot, Jayashree,
Thank you
for
so much.
sharing your journey. Before we close this show, since today is World Autism Day, what is that message you want to give for people out there? They might be either parents of a kid who's got autism, or general public. What they can do for kids and people or friends who are neighbors as people who have autism.
Yeah, it's a very valid question for the day. So I think I'll be happy to close with this beautiful thing, what I want to say. First thing is acceptance. Autism means accept. A for autism, A for acceptance. Acceptance. And understand autism, AU, understand. Give them a lot of, understand what they want. They are just saying that accept us, right? It is not only children with autism, but also any kind of special needs, or even normal children for that matter. How much are the parents or whoever it is are accepting the weakness? Everybody wants to be in IIT. Everybody wants to send their child, make their child a doctor. Everybody wants to make their child an IIM graduate. Why? Why that pressure? The first thing is accept whatever your child has. So from that itself, you can create so many things. When you're giving that freedom, probably looking at myself itself, looking back, because of the freedom that I had, only I am here today. So don't underestimate your child. Don't assume that you're an adult and they are supposed to listen to you all the time. Respect. Give your ears to them. Lend your ears carefully, because as they are as they venture into their teenage, it is very important. If you don't lend your ears, they may not even want to come and tell you anything. So I think acceptance is the first thing that all of us should do. Accept your weakness. Even if you have a weakness, accept it. It does not. It holds good for everything, every person in life. We have to accept our mistakes. If we don't accept our mistakes, we cannot grow. So if somebody is telling you something, listen and then think over it, what they have told. So wholeheartedly accept your child, give them a lot of love, protect them, because nowadays there is so much of child abuse, and this is one area which I'm actually working on, the child protection. I'm working with a wonderful team of members who are working towards passing a bill to the United Nations. So here, whoever is watching, I would like to gain all of your support for this bill to be passed successfully, because this is for the Global Child Protection Act. So because there are so many acts across the country, right? Across the globe, in fact. But how many of them are actually following those rules? So what are the things that we can do to make people follow? Yes, there are so many things mentioned. If we go on Google, we get tons of information, right? But how do we make people accept it? How do we make people have some fear to that law? That there is a law like this, so we have to protect our child. There is a law like this, so we should not touch other child. When there are so many people who are abusing the children in many ways, physically, sexually, everything, how do we stop this? So acceptance, we should be able to protect our own children first, then only we can protect the other children.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
a
you
lot.
so much, Ravi,
Jayashree ji.
for this wonderful conversation. I again thank all the audience who have watched me today, and I think this is going to be a very memorable moment because I have shared my journey. So I'm very happy and proud of it today for who I am. Thank you so much.
Thanks a
And it's
lot.
okay to be what you are.
Yeah,
Remember
that's
that.
important.
It's okay to be what you are. Yes.
So thanks a lot, Jayashree ji. I mean, for
Thank you.
sharing
Thank
your
you. Thank you.
insights and your journey, and thank you for contributing back to the society, and especially with respect to autism. It is a thankless task or a job. You're saying you're enjoying it, but I know what is the efforts which are involved.
No,
You know,
no,
giving back
it's
every
it
day.
comes with full heart, you know.
Yes,
It's
you.
total. It is a blissful journey that one has to experience. I would say if you get a chance, please do it
So, so
because those children give you so much of unconditional love. You will not get it from anybody.
true. I agree with
They
you.
are so pure. They are so innocent. Especially when the children are entering into their adolescence, they need so much of people need to understand them what is happening, you know. The person with a teenager with who has these difficulties, they also have the same kind of hormonal changes, but they'll not be able to express. So the people around them, so we have to build a community for them so that they can be independent in the future, you know.
Right. So, thank you for taking your valuable time out and joining us on this particular day, apart from your regular schedule. So, friends, we will share the social handles where Dr. Jayashree is available. Do connect with her, do encourage her because this is definitely superb. And do encourage, as she has mentioned, do encourage, accept, and understand. Kids with autism or people with their autism if you come across them. So, thank you, friends. Have a great evening. Thank you, Jayashree ji.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.